Now invite Managing Director at Upaya City Cargo, Mr. Suman Rayamajhi. Mr. Rayamajhi is the Managing Director of Upaya City Cargo, a tech-enabled platform that aggregates the intra-city cargo logistics market in Nepal. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Rayamajhi.
सबैजनालाई नमस्ते, a very good morning. म सुमन रायमाझी, म उपाय सिटी कार्गो represent गर्छु. First of all, thank you so much. I feel really honored to be here. And thank you so much, Kavi and your team. I really feel honored. My topic, which has been given to me, like Upaya for Digital Economy of Nepal. नाम सुन्दाखेरि Upaya itself is like a solution. र भनौँ solution भन्दा नि अझ सजिलो हिसाबबाट गर्ने चिज हो. So the way I've actually structured my speech, or like my keynote speech, is on three categories. Maybe firstly, I would want to share our story in terms of why Upaya City Cargo is here and why are we doing this. Second, Upaya City Cargo ko यही program सँगै जान्छ 2.0 version, or like one on the next level Upaya चाहिँ के हो त digital नेपालको लागि. But that's something which I want to share. And thirdly, maybe there's been a lot of learnings that has happened over a period of time, even if it was only for 3 years. That's something which I can share to the young entrepreneurs who's trying to come up and build up something in days to come. And it'll be a privilege to share our experience or my experience in terms of what happened in Upaya. So the story goes back in terms of like, I think it was almost like around four years back when I was working in smart telecom. And that was the time when we actually launched 4G in Kathmandu. Though Smart has still been struggling in terms of making his mark in Nepal as such, in terms of a growing telecom economy because of the other issues. But when we launched 4G in Kathmandu, this was somewhere around like in January 2018. We came up with an plan, which was like an unlimited night package at 19 rupees. When that plan was given out, and it was from 11 o'clock at night to, I think it was in 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, the amount of data that was being used at that point of time, 4 years back, entire network got choked. Right? It was almost like giving a cocaine to a drug addict. So if you look at that, that was the time I first realized that Nepal is moving into a digital era. The young population which is here, which is really hungry to get into the internet platform, to use the data, if it has been given in a really good price and a very cheap price, they would really use it and create something else. So त्यो बेला, when we saw it, that was the time we thought like maybe it's time we get into the whole digital platform or a digital Nepalko side ma चाहिँ लाग्नै पर्छ भनेर. Then we looked at Upaya. Maybe for me it was more like 4 years back, but Manojji had already known it almost like 10 years back. Vishal had known it 10 years back, and so did Aman. But now when you look at this phase, Nepalko, so it's almost like 2005, 2015 in US, 2010, 2020 phase of India, and Nepalko lagi it'll be from 2020 to 2030 or 2035. And if you go back and see in terms of how Nepalko business ko key prioritize bhayo. So पहिला at some point of time when like I was still studying, त्यो बेला like carpet industry boom भइरहेको थियो. Then came the hotel industries haru. Then came financial institution को एउटा whole lot नै आयो. The last decade that we saw was more on hydropower, and everybody was into hydropower. And the next phase that you'll be seeing in days to come will be on digital platform, and that's where like program like this is happening. Everybody is talking about it. Not only that, all the basic parameters is going to tick off those points. Like for example, if I can say what is required for a digital economy is like internet penetration. अहिले काठमाडौँमा हेर्नुभयो भने it's almost like 100% penetration, not only in Kathmandu, but mostly in all urban cities. ISPs हरूले त्यही हिसाबबाट आफ्नो ग्रोथ गरिरहेछ. Unfortunately, telecom side, it's only 2 telecom, but the fact that the 1/3 player would come on a big scale, you'd get data even at like, say, I would say 10 rupees per gig. And that would be the time you could really see a boom that's happening. And the boom that I could see or I could forecast is in year maybe 2025. त्यहाँनिर एकदमै ठुलो boom देख्छ, and that's where like all these things would come in. So keeping that in mind, so we started Upaya with bunch of our colleagues, my friends, like Ranjeev is here, Amigo, Basandai, Chandan, Nishchal, and few of our initial staff, Rahul, Sandeep, Subodh, Rosa. So we started this whole Upaya thing. We closed our seed round. We then raised money internally from our own staff. Then we actually got an angel investor on board. And then we successfully closed our Series A. And then this is where Upaya City Cargo is. Though it sounds so easy from like the way I say it, but that's not where it actually happened in the last 3 years. There was a lot of challenges. It was not a smooth ride. So the first challenges was like, if I can relate this story. So the Upaya City Cargo was not what we had actually conceptualized when we actually few of the friends gathered together to raise the seed round. So seed round, it was more of when we started, and we knew that, okay, digital Nepal airasa, and that's where the entire economy is going to head to. So we were trying to solve a problem, especially on the government institution. So we have a company called Upaya Business Solution, which actually is, again, a platform, a tech platform, which actually provides service on the accounting, company registration and all. So our whole initial plan was to actually say that, okay, if you go to a government office, like if you go to a company register office, to get your work done, you have no idea in terms of how it should be done. And the government has not given that whole transparency in terms of, as a citizen of this Nepal, how do I get into and get my work done from that particular institution, or from like Department of Transport गएर मैले लाइसेन्स नै निकाल्नु पर्यो, or like मेरो लाइसेन्स रिन्यू गर्नु पर्यो भने जुन हेडेक छ नि त्यो दिनै सकेको छैन. And that's where we actually started. But then that company is still there, but then this the child, where when we went to the Department of Transport to actually look at that issue, that's where we saw, okay, there's another opportunity that we should actually look into. Because त्यो बेला चाहिँ like I said, food delivery side you had Food Mandu, you had Pathao Foods coming in. Financial services side there was like F1 Soft, there was Khalti, I know there was like the whole place was there. On e-commerce side, Daraz, Sasto Deal, and a lot of other e-commerce was coming in. And then we thought and realized in a sense, like, at some point of time, the goods have to move from one place to another. No matter how much you actually book your transaction from your mobile phone, from your website, from your phone calls, but at the end of the day, somebody needs to efficiently transfer the goods from one place to another, and that's where we thought, like, we'll start an Upaya City Cargo, which is basically an intra-city transport logistic solution company. So we have cargo vans, we have Tata Mobile, we have Mahindra Ko Bolero, transferring goods from one place to another. You can also hire the vehicle on a rental basis. We are operating here in Kathmandu, we are operating in Butwal Bhairaba, and we're also operating in Pokhara. And now the whole plan is like, with all this put together, right? So that's where like Upaya City Cargo came into the picture. The second challenge that we had was when the COVID hit, right? At that point of time, I could really share that we really had a sleepless night. So the key was like the initial seed funding that we had raised, that was almost running out. And we had actually closed an angel investor. A few angel investor was on a wait and watch, because it was not only us who was been hit, but the entire nation and the entire world was being hit. So everybody was on a wait and watch situation. त्यो बेला, that's the worst time that any entrepreneur could actually have. That's the time you actually prove yourself. How much can you bet for the business model that you've actually created? हामीले बसेर डिस्कस गर्दाखेरि what we knew was the model was not wrong. The planning was not wrong. Whatever we had planned makes completely sense. The situation was not right, and we also knew that the situation was transition, right? To transition हुँदाखेरि, then we reached out to our own staff, saying that, can we cut down on our own salary? And then I'm very grateful to have those staff in Upaya City Cargo who actually sacrificed in terms of their own pay cut for few months to ensure that the company keeps running. On the other hand, like me as one of the key promoter of Upaya City Cargo, I then risked my own personal asset to actually raise loan and continue this because we believed that this would work. And having done these two things, employees sacrificing on one side, and then we as an entrepreneur, like risking more on your own business, gave more confidence to the angel investor who was actually coming in. And once the first lockdown was over, that was the time we actually closed the angel investor on our side and raised another capital to move ahead. Right? And this is something which I think every entrepreneur should also understand, in the sense, the fact that you only have an idea or a business does not mean that the investor is going to just dive in. Right? You really need to show yourself in terms of how much risks are you taking. Risks not only in terms of, okay, मैले चाहिँ 20 लाख 30 लाखबाट सुरु गर्यो अनि अब यहाँसम्म पुग्यो, and then somebody is going to put 1 crore भनेर भन्ने is one aspect. But if push come to shove, are you going to risk more? So when you actually reach out to your angel investor, त्यो बेला चाहिँ angel investors ले के सोच्छ भने मलाई के guarantee गर्छौ त, हैन? अनि if are you reaching out to your own family members saying that, are you putting that भनौँ न the risks in terms of your own relation for the growth of that business? त्यो भनेको कस्तो भने यदि तपाईहरुले चाहिँ यसमा दुईटा, like this is something which I really wanted to share was, यसमा दुईटा कुरा छ. मैले नर्मली बिजनेसमा फ्यामिली मेम्बर्सहरु ल्याउनु हुँदैन, यदि बिजनेस बिग्रियो भने त मेरो फ्यामिली रिलेसन गइहाल्छ भन्ने. But if you have a confidence in your own business and you bring in your family members or your close people around to put their money into your business, that also gives on the other side the amount of confidence and the faith that you actually have in your own business that you're trying to grow. And when the outside investor really sees this, they get a lot of confidence about the way that you things move ahead. So like so हाम्रो त्यही own struggle मा, in the sense like staffहरुले जुन contribute गर्दियो, हैन, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि now the उपायको 2.0 version would be more than an individual itself, like rather than me, Ranjiv, Amigo, Sandeep, अरु हाम्रो key members हरु भन्दा नि, now what we are trying to build Upaya City Cargo is more like an institution. It goes beyond any individuals. Whether I'm here or not, and at some point of time in 3 years to 4 years time, you would see Upaya City Cargo coming in more like an institution for everybody who's actually working there, rather than actually relating it to an individual personal. So these were like the challenges. अर्को एउटा challenge मैले share गर्नु पर्यो भने, when we actually started, so Upaya City Cargo is more like not a disruptive technology, but it's more like a collaborative technology. Before we actually came into picture, हाम्रो driver दाइहरु, हाम्रो driver partnersहरुले, they were already providing this service to their own customers. उनीहरु चाहिँ काठमाडौँमा चाहिँ 32 वटा चोकहरुमा बस्ने, हैन, र फोनको भरमा या कोही मान्छे गएर चाहिँ मलाई आज गाडी भाडामा दियो भनेर गाडीको सर्भिस प्रोवाइड गरि नै राख्थ्यो. What we basically did was we used the technology to make it more efficient, both for the driver partners as well as for the customers. So यो collaborative model मा, हैन, I remember, हैन, हाम्रो अहिले director of logistic को सन्दीप चाहिँ गएर सुरुमा driver partnerहरुसँग कुरा गर्दाखेरि, they would not believe that we would be where we are now. And they would also had not believed in terms of like, तपाईले त कसरी गर्न सक्छ, म आफै गरिरहेको छु, हैन, तपाईले आएर चाहिँ मलाई मेरो बिजनेस कसरी बढाइदिनुहुन्छ, त्यसमाथि पनि तपाईले चाहिँ आफ्नो कमिसन पोर्सन लिएर Those were like the simple question they were asking. And it was really hard for us to prove ourselves in terms of their income is going to increase. Now, in 3 years down the line, if I can name out few driver partners that we've actually helped them to grow, it's very commendable. And they feel really happy to be a part of Upaya City Cargo family. So these were the challenges that we faced. So things were not so easy as such. Lockdown ma hamlai especially it was a silver lining, also a blessing in disguise, where like Upaya City Cargo को चाहिँ गाडीहरु चल्न पाइयो हैन, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि पनि हामी चाहिँ एउटा लेभलको ग्रोथ गर्न सक्यौं. And now coming back to my second part in terms of where Upaya City Cargo or Upaya for the digital economy of Nepal is like what we are trying to now solve, or what we are trying to do is like your phone, sitting here now, if I can send it to विराटनगर को चाहिँ रानी एरियामा हैन, जसमा चाहिँ 2 तल्ला घर छ, पहेँलो घर हैन, एउटा रुखको पिपल बोर्डको साइडको घरमा चाहिँ हैन, हाम्रो obviously पिन कोडहरु छैन, त्यो पुराउन सक्ने is what now Upaya City Cargo is trying to do हैन. भनेको like for example मैले not only that नेपालगञ्जको चाहिँ बीपी चोकको 1 तल्ला घर हैन, जानेर चाहिँ रोड चाहिँ स्लाइटली घुमेको छ, त्यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ यो फोन मैले यही बसेर अर्डर गरेर कसैले आएर लिएर गएर मोस्ट एफिसिएन्ट वे, जुन प्रोडक्ट जस्तो अवस्थामा छ मोस्ट एफिसिएन्ट वे, वेदर बाई ट्रान्सपोर्ट, वेदर बाई एन एयर हैन, डिपेन्डिङ अन द रिक्वायरमेन्ट अफ द कस्टमर हैन, त्यो पुर्याउन सक्ने इज वाट उपाय सिटी कार्गोको 0.2 भर्जन अर द नेक्स्ट ग्रोथ प्लान इज. मेरो आफ्नै ओन sharing गर्ने हो भने I've been working for last 20 years. I've done an audit. I'm into a telecom business. I've become a fund manager. At some point of time, I was a CEO of Business Oxygen. I've been in a telecom business. I was a part of a corporate house where I was a corporate finance manager. But now this part, which is my मेरो career second inning ho, हैन, this is where I'm betting my money, I'm betting my time, and I'm betting my commitment purely on this whole digital Nepal side. And then I could see a lot of young entrepreneurs here, or would-be entrepreneurs here, and I think that should be your second bet in terms of 2020 and 2035 would be a growth phase for the entire digital economy. So हामीले पनि उपाय 0.2 version in terms of हाम्रो own growth मा चाहिँ. Now if I need to do that, like भनौं न यहाँबाट चाहिँ मैले विराटनगर एउटा ठाउँमा कुनै सामान पठाउनु पर्यो भने we need to have a warehousing system, we need to get into a transport business, and that's where the entire Upaya City Cargo is planning to. हामीले चाहिँ अहिले now when you see it's an on demand thing, हैन, हामीले within the city मा चाहिँ गाडीदेखि टु व्हीलरदेखि कार्गो भ्यान पिकअपको ट्रकबाट सामान चाहिँ ओसार पसार गरिरहेको छौं काठमाडौँमा, पोखरामा, बुटोल भैरवमा. But going further, we will expand this into 10 different cities or even more, right? So we'll have our presence all across Nepal. We will have a sorting center or a fulfillment center in days to come. And then we will also we would also have, in terms of the transport that's going to take the goods from one city to another city in any part of Nepal. And that's where the Upaya City Cargo's bigger vision is. So we are basically involved in, we're getting into 4 verticals where we actually call it an on-demand service. Then it's a Mero Upaya service, which is a customized service for the corporate clients. Then it's more like an Upaya fulfillment center, which allows you to store your goods as well as to sort it out and send it across to your own customer base. And then there'll be something called Upaya Transport that's going to move the goods from one city to another city. So this is what the Upaya 0.2 version will be in days to come, and we look forward for the support of our customers, our driver partners, and basically our driver partners who is the face of our the company, and we hope to actually grow this. And not only that, right now, like, okay, we've closed the Series A. We've not even started. It's just the beginning, and the way this would go is like we would want to actually be one of the Upaya, so that people can move around their goods and whatever they can to any place in Nepal in the most efficient way. And that's the Upaya for the digital Nepal. Now, coming back to the third part, which is more like a lesson learning which I can actually would want to share with you is key is like when you do in startup, it's very easy to come up with an idea, and I think everybody must be hearing about it. Is like, okay, म त यो सुरु गर्छु, okay, there's a problem that needs to be addressed, right? त्यो प्रब्लमलाई एड्रेस गर्नलाई मैले सुरु गर्छु भन्ने बित्तिकै the way it normally happens is then you try to link around and figure out who your friends or your colleagues are who can actually be a part of it, right? And that also really makes a lot of sense in the sense like, and what you need to keep in mind is whoever the team that you build up, you really need to think through in the sense like मैले यो सानो प्रब्लम मात्र सल्भ गरेर भोलि चाहिँ यो कम्पनी ठुलो हुन्छ कि हुँदैन भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ र अनि त्यो कम्पनी ठुलो हुँदाखेरि मैले अहिले ग्यादर गरेको टिममेट्सले चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ इन टर्म्स अफ कम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्छ इच अदरलाई. लाइक फर इक्जाम्पल, I don't have all the necessary attributes to make Upaya 2.0 version the biggest company or biggest logistic company here in Nepal. So the way we have actually structured is there's like my other directors, my other partners, even our staff members, we're all growing together and actually contributing from their own skill set. Different skill setले कम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्दै यसलाई ठुलो बनाउन सक्ने भन्ने चाहिँ त्यो सपना आज देख्न सकिरहेको छौँ because त्यो कम्प्लिमेन्ट्री स्किल सेट चाहिँ इन्टायर टिममा छ. So when you actually first build up your own team, you really need to see through in terms of who complements what. Just because you are a friend doesn't mean that you need to come together and start up a business. And you come together to start up a business because your other friend or your other colleague is going to have a complementary skill which you don't have, and that's how it allows you to grow bigger at the days to come. अनि त्यो bigger उसमा चाहिँ it's a continuous learning. I had never been into a logistic business before this. I had no idea in terms of, okay, some sort of idea in terms of how supply chain would have worked. But all I did was like, I went around, talked to people, did a lot of readings, did a lot of exposure trip. Like I could say, like when we started Upaya City Cargo, so we went to Bangalore and looked at two companies called Porter and Truck Easy. You know? They were doing that business in 2013. That was the era for India for the digital phase, which was like 2010 to 2020, and they started in 2013, 2012. And we could really see in terms of how they had grown, right? अनि त्यो कनेक्सन लिएर चाहिँ त्यहाँ गएर बुझ्यो भने then you can exactly see and have that visibility in terms of how far, actually how big can you become. Now अहिले हेर्यौँ भने अहिले Upaya 2.2 को version is not only the Porter को version होला. Now we're looking at a company called Sadofax, we're looking at a company called Ecom, we're looking at a company called Delivery, and we want to become that because they've already been there, right? And that's where like हाम्रो own learning, like for new entrepreneurs like त्यो पनि हो. The third कुरा which is very, very important is like you may have an idea, you may have a good business plan, but at the end of the day, you need money. And like for us, I'm not from a business family. I've got a professional background, right? And money has always been a constraint for us. Like, and that's why I've been working for somebody else. Right now, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm working for myself. But at the end of the day, how do you secure a money is something which you really need to understand. And यसको लागि चाहिँ के हो भने when we were closing the seed round among our own close circle, I already had a plan to close an angel round, right? And we closed in Series A recently. Now I already have a plan to close Series B. It's a continuous process. Just because you have a money right now doesn't mean it's going to last forever, because your business plan is going to grow, because what any tech company like ours is solving problem, which means that the amount of demand or the amount of need that is required to actually scale, you need a lot of money, and you need to keep thinking from the day you close one, you start thinking of the next one. And that's how you grow. And that's how most of the companies outside in US, in India, has been growing that way. And now, good part in Nepal is like now you could see a lot of PEVC, Nepali PEVC coming in. There's a lot of angel investor group. Even in this conference hall, you could see a lot of angel investor and private equity fund managers trying to see in terms of where they could actually deploy their money with a business which is really good, which is a business which really is promising, and a business which is highly committed. And when you say committed, you need to put your own money, not only your money, you need to show to your investor that you put in your own close people's money, that you've taken that risk, you've taken a risk of your own relation to grow this business. And not only that, the other aspect is also like in the sense, Banuna, it's better to have few investors, then it's easy to manage. But till the time you don't close your Series A, you need to have a multiple investors. किन सबैजनाले एकैजना ढक्क पैसा हाल्दैन हैन, कसैले 10 लाख देला, कसैले 15 लाख देला, आफ्नो क्लोज मान्छेले तपाईको बिजनेस प्लान र तपाई एज अ इन्डिभिजुअललाई पत्याएर पैसा हाल्दिने हो र त्यही पैसाले चाहिँ आफूले के प्रुभ गरेर देखाउनु पर्छ भने यो बिजनेस इज स्केलेबल हैन, यो बिजनेसले मेक सेन्स, इट इज गोइङ टु सल्भ अ बिगर प्रब्लम व्हिच इन टर्न इज गोइङ टु मेक मनी नट ओन्ली फर यु, for your own people around as well as the investor who is coming in. त्यति गर्न सक्यो र प्लस what is the exit, हैन, त्यति देखाउन सक्यो भने I think you can grow your business. Having said this, I would want to close my speech here. I'm really happy and honored to be here. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much.